Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Monday Night Live with the Arrival. We hope everyone is doing well. Seems like we haven't been here for a minute, huh?
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, just like a week, right? Let's see who's in here. We have R. Hogan
Hey, okay, Hart Hogan. Yeah.
here and present, guys. Chi-Town in the house. And we have Diamond Collins. Hi, Diamond. We have Aunt Linda. Welcome to Monday Night Live with the
Yes.
Arrival.
Hey.
Hi, I understand that Stacy is either not going to be here. I'm sure she told you, Aunt Linda. She's going to be late. Like she'll pop in when she can. So, there you go.
We're in just a little early, so we'll give them a little time. Everyone's showing up there.
We heard that the weather is very, very, very cold there.
Really?
Right?
It's cold. Yeah.
They said it's really, really cold. That the hawk is out. I can't even, and we only been here for a year, but I can't even imagine right now we're in a coat. I guess I can, but not really. How about you?
Yeah, I can imagine.
You can imagine it.
I mean, but you go to the beach, it's cool too. So, starting to come to that time when the beach is cold.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you throw a sweater on or something.
Yeah. And right now, here in the Gambia, I noticed that the weather is getting a little bit more cooler too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not as hot as it always was.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Diamond says Philadelphia. Yes, it's freezing. Girl, I remember those days. I don't know. Philly was freezing cold, especially when we were down in Center City. Ooh, honey. Yes.
Wind whip around the building.
Yes. Oh my goodness, we just be freezing.
It's that time too.
Yeah. Mhm. So what's new? What's going on with the slab?
It's finished.
It's finished.
Mm-hmm. Give it a little time to cure. Now we're going to start the block.
Start the block.
That'll be the next step. Waiting for the car to be finalized and finished.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
oh,
How are things with the car?
okay.
Wow.
So yeah, they had to do some work on it because we'll put a video out on it so you can see what they did and how it all progressed.
It was something electrical.
It was the computer, the brain.
Yeah, and I can I tell you that I never ever had that kind of problem with my car before.
Really?
Yeah, that's the first time I even knew that the car had a brain.
Wow. It has a brain, and then the ignition cylinder has another module type box on it, and they had to pair the key because apparently there was no signal with my key, so they had to do major electrical ignition module brain. So yeah, they're working on that, and just once that's finished, because we thought we were going to have to reprogram the brain, but that box, that particular brain's not reprogrammable.
Oh, wow.
So we had to get another one.
Yeah.
Which took a nice piece of change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tomorrow it should be all kind of like finalized.
Finalized, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
G Global saying here, hey guys, it's cooler here in Senegal, really nice. Yes. Last year when we were here in the Gambia at this time, I loved from November, I think it was, like into January.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful weather. Just perfect weather. Diamond Collins says, yes, it's cold. And R. Hogan says, let's not talk about the weather. Alfreda Sinclair, it got down to 39 degrees in Georgia. Wow. That's cold. And Richmond, hi Anime. Oh, wait a minute. Anime says froze any sound. So you cannot hear us? JD Okra, good evening. Oh, now she says, okay, I hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, good. So yeah, the car, hopefully tomorrow the car will be done, and then we will begin our next phase of continuation building, and it's getting the blocks done for the house, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that, and
we'll just see. Plus, you got to take into mind they have the election coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So they said it's going to be a lot of traffic on the road, a lot of people on the road. So it might slow us down this week just slightly, if anything. But that would be the only reason outside of the car not being completely repaired. But we anticipate the car being repaired. So
yeah.
So
All right.
once that's happened, then we're gonna move forward.
So I want everyone to hit the like button, and if you're not a subscriber, I want you to subscribe, like, and share our channel. And also, you can feel free, if you would like to support us, you may with our Cash App, but I don't have that information. And our PayPal information is on the About page, I guess. Yes.
It's on our channel about the About page.
Yes, I'm acting like a moderator. Denise Spencer says, "Hello, family. Sending love and blessings. What's the topic for tonight?" The topic for tonight is family generations. I think that's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Family generations. And I chose this topic for two particular reasons. One reason was talking to my children, and I asked them if they could name. It's like water's running.
I'll check, but
okay.
I don't know.
I asked them if they could name JD Ucker. I think I said hi. Yeah. There's three generations. If they could go back 3 generations on mom's side and on dad's side, if they knew grandmom's name, granddad's name, grandmom's mom's name, grandmom's dad's name, and go back 3 generations. And I wanted to talk about that because I was doing Ancestry.com, and I was trying to see how far I could go back and how I can learn about my family history and where everyone came from, and how important it is for us to talk about our history and to pass that down to our children. You know, like sometimes we have our grandma with us forever and we never sit and ask our grandmother, like, you know, grandma, what was your mom's name? You know, how many sisters did your mom have? And when you have the person present with you to get that information, we don't even take advantage of it, and then their person's gone. Like for me, for example, like I had plenty of opportunity to ask questions, and then after someone's dead and gone, and I'm like, wow, I had them right there with me, and I could have got this information, and why didn't I get this information? So when I was talking to my children, I was saying to them that you know, and I was giving them the information, the names, and I said, write it down, you know, and then begin to look for pictures and get pictures and attach them to your maternal grandmother, your paternal grandmother, and so on. And if you have a grandma who's still living, can I get a picture of your mom and your dad? So you can just create this family album and start passing down your history and ask for stories. What do you want to say anything about that?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just good to have generations that you can identify. You can look back, and it's good to know because it's interesting facts that you find out, you know, that you can actually use. You know, you'll see a lot of similarities. You'll see your great-great-great-grandfather was this, and you're like, wow, I didn't know that. Wow, that's, you know, but you'll see how strong they were and how determined they were and how the obstacles that they overcame. And, you know, it's just good to know. It's good to know because we as a people, a lot of our generational information, you know, I even tried to search it. I found mine all the way back in Ancestry.
And how far were you able to go back?
I think with looking at all information that other family members had, I think it was able to go back to my great-grandfather. My great-grandfather's, I think his father. Great-great-grandfather.
I was able to
go. Still like the 1800s, I think.
Really?
But I'm not positively sure because all they had back then were censors and then, you know, slave records, and you got to look into, you don't know if this name is the real name, but it's interesting. But to say that, you know, it's funny because I never saw when I found out that we were coming to Gambia when we got here, I never thought about it. Kunta Kinte is from Spotsylvania, Virginia, right? And I think I said this before. Yeah, and when I looked, I realized that my grandfather's family is from the same place, Spotsylvania, Virginia. And, I said, wow, that's crazy. I wonder if during the time that they had stolen him and brought him to Annapolis, Maryland, that's the ship. Because I remember I looked up the ship. It was Lord something. And they 1767, they brought the ship. And then they sold the slaves in to Spotsylvania, Virginia. And I said, I wonder if any of my relatives were on that ship, because when we come, they said he looked Fula. I said, I wonder if a Fula man was snatched up at the same time as Kunta and pretty much sent to that same area. So you never know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you find out. And when I got here to Gambia, it's like I see people who look just like my family members. So,
Yeah.
and it's so eerie, but it's rewarding too.
Yeah.
So,
You want to go up there because people are saying things.
Saying things.
Okay, so go down a little bit. Okay, so Reaching Freedom saying bringing 4 generations together for a family reunion is difficult. Yes, I'm sure that it probably is, but it is so necessary. And then when you do pull it off, I think that it needs to be more centered around sharing the history. You know what I mean? Like,
not refereeing.
And just really sharing the history. I just think is so important, because now that I'm so hungry for it, and I realize I had it right in front of me all this time, and I never took advantage of it. So I think it's good to have it. Anime said, so true. I never discussed Ancestry with my grandma. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she was right there, right? Mm-hmm. Good evening, Bob Barbie. Hey, Bob, how are you? Diamond Collins says, I went back 8 generations. Whoa.
That's good.
That is great. Yes. You can go back 8. Well, I hope, Diamond, that you're passing that information on to your children if you have children. And if you don't have children, to your nieces and nephews, to anyone, and just begin to document that. Like, put it in a book or put it somewhere. And if you can attach pictures, that would even be better, because I think we need that, right? Mm-hmm. Denise Spencer says, my family just lost the last sibling of my mother's brother. Wow.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that. And G Global says, I knew my great-grandmother. We did the Alex Haley thing before DNA traced our family tree back many generations. That's good.
That's good.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And it's good to know you have the roots you can kind of like attach yourself to.
Yeah. See how far you go back, Diamond Collins says, I have their recipes. Oh, see? And some people have their recipes and won't even share them. They keep them just for themselves. They don't even pass them on. Like, I think it's good that if someone has grandmom's recipe of something, to pass it down so every woman can have them, even the males. Mm-hmm. So you have like a family legacy. King Joseph says, hi there, rivals.
Hey,
greetings
Joseph.
from LA. I hope all is well. I was thinking about you the other day. I was going to reach out to you, and I never got a chance to, so it's good to see you. Yes, good to see you, King Joseph. Anime says, never met any of my great-grands. Okay, Aunt Linda says, I only knew my grandmother on my mother's side. Okay. Your grandmother, I think I met her one time when I was 5. My great-grandmother, I met her. We went down there, and I think I met her when I was 5. I remember her. Anime says 17.
That's the next generation for you here, right?
Linda's grandmother would be my great-grandmother.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
And I met her when I was like 5 years old. I remember. And she sold me a dress. I remember that too. Wow. I do have that one memory of her. Hi, Daniel.
Hey,
how
Daniel.
are you? Good evening.
Good.
I hope all is well.
Mm-hmm.
Denise Spencer says, I have had the privilege of growing up with my grandparents and even great aunts. My immediate family now, we are 3 generations. Wow. That's good. Mm-hmm. That is awesome. Yes.
Okay. Diamond says,
all the way back to James Plantation, which is still there.
Wow.
And my their great-grandchildren still live there. Whoa, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. King Joseph says, Terry, I agree. History is so important. Today we have access to learn our history that wasn't available before years ago. That is so true. That is so true. You gonna read some?
No, okay, just do it.
Wendell Delaney says, "Hello, family. If they write slave ship logs the way they're writing school history books, we are in trouble. That's why it's up to us to leave the legacy and us to talk to our children and share with them and give them the names and as far as you can go back and as far as you can remember, talk about your family. I remember, listening to some of my uncles and just sitting and listening to stories. I would love to hear those stories and it just was like so intriguing. And I don't know if we do that anymore. It's so important to leave that to pass down that history. And I just wanted to share about, our families. Our families are so different. Like our families are, remember that I stopped there, okay? Our families are so different. We have the traditional family. We have the single family. We have the blended family. Then we have the families that are all over the place. Like, I don't even know what you call them families. But family looks so different for everyone. And, I wanted to talk about the blended family for a second. I wanted to say to anyone who's listening who might have a blended family or who may have children that you're married now, you might have two children or a child in that marriage that's not your spouse's or their father, the father, that's not your spouse's, right? And now the true father doesn't exist anymore because now you're telling that child, this is your daddy, call him dad, and we're forgetting about real dad, right? And I just want to say how I feel like it's so important that even if you have your new husband or your new family and this blended family, don't forget about real dad, because real dad is important. And real dad has a mom and a dad and siblings, and your children need to know who and where they came from, even though they have new dad that they love and adore, and new dad loves them. Don't forget about dad. Don't forget about where it all began. And I'm hoping that, we can do this thing better than we've been doing it. Even if we, in the past, we messed it up, that especially as women, we fall in love with someone and we use the kids and we try to use the kids against that man and say, well, you can't see your kids, and years could go by and the kids are not seeing their father or their father's side of the family. And it's so wrong because the kid loses out, and I'm hoping that we as a people of melanation, that we can get past those feelings and look out for our children and the next generation and let the love continue, even if it has to be from across town or if it has to be from another city, to be present, to share that legacy with your children so they can know where they came from and they can know they have another family, a true family, even if your family looks different and you chose to move on. I think that is so important. Okay. I don't know if you want to add anything.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
You hit it all.
All right. So G Global says, for my grandparents' 70th anniversary, we had 6 generations in the same room over several lineages. Their brother and sister. Oh, see, that makes me want to cry. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's nice. Good. That's good. Denise Spencer says, I remember picking and cleaning cotton with my grandparents and also listening to the old time stories. I even remember my grandmother telling the time by the movement of the sun. Wow, that's good. So you got to make sure you pass them stories on. The stories are good, and share them with your siblings and your children. And Bob Garvey says, so many white people in America are keeping old records they inherited about Black people in slavery days, but they're afraid to share it. It's a shame. Yes. They keep better history than us, but it's time for us to get notebooks and start documenting, the year, the next time you're around your grandparents, grandma, what year were you born? Granddad, what year were you born? Did you how many brothers and sisters did you have? And what cities did you grow up in? And, how was it? And start your own ancestry, but in person, right? And just begin to, can I get a picture with you, Granddad? And just take the pictures and start your own little scrapbook about your family history, because I believe that it's so important for us to know who we are, where we came from, and make our own family tree.
Yes.
and be able to at least go back 3 generations on both sides. And if you don't know, ask your aunties, ask your uncles, and someone should be able to help you with that information. There should be someone alive that can help you, right? Descendants from Africa. Hello, how are you? King Joseph said, unfortunately, here in Los Angeles, our rich, beautiful Black history don't always get passed down to the next generation. I've been learning so much about this powerful Black history that wasn't shared. Good for you. Write it down, and share it with your people, whoever you can share it with, write it down. Daniel said, I only met my granddad on my dad's side, but I've seen photos of grandparents and seen photos of 3 of my great-grandparents. Yep. And then, you know what, get them pictures if you can and make copies for your kids and see if you can get them those names and pass them down so they can know their history.
Yeah.
Jet Union says, hello, the arrival. Am late, but made it. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Hello. How are you?
Welcome.
Yes. All right. So that's a blended family, right? So how about the single family? The mom who's doing everything by herself. We know she definitely probably can't stand daddy. And she probably, single mom ain't sharing nothing about that man, because if she see him, she just wants to take him out, right? Because she's angry and she's bitter, probably. Not always. I'm just speculating. But I'm hoping, if you're listening, single mom, that we can turn this thing around and we can say to our baby's father, come on, let's turn this around. Sorry, we need a mess of this thing. Let's see if we can co-parent, even if it's separately, and if we can let this child be brought up in love and know that he's loved on both sides or she's loved on both sides, so they can be, have self-confidence and self-assurance and know, because it begins with us, that it begins with us. It begins with the parents, and we can be petty. We can be, hold grudges or whatever. But it's time for us to think about the next generation and think about the children.
That's right.
Right. Denise says, great topic, guys. I love this. I am all smiles just thinking about my grandparents. Oh, that's nice. I remember my grandmother. I think when I was about maybe 5 or 6. My grandmother died, and I wish that I had more time, and I wish that I had, more memories of her. But I love the way I saw my mother with her grandchildren, because that was what I thought a grandmother should be, what I saw my mom display to her grandchildren, and it made me only hope that I could have had that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So when you have those memories, Denise, that's awesome, because I don't have those memories. So I think that's beautiful.
After school, I used to go to my grandparents' house.
You have great memories of your grandparents.
Man, I do. They were great people. And I would he showed me how to do the farming and the land and how to shuck the grass. They call it shuck the grass. And a lot of people don't know what that is.
Yeah, what's shuck the grass?
Every spring, you want to go out there and you want to clean the dirt, the dead grass away from in your yard from the grass that's growing, because it kind of covers it up and it restricts it from growing, and you loosen the dirt and you shuck all the old grass up, and it looks like hay when you get it.
Oh yeah.
And you just, so it can breathe.
Oh.
So it's called, she would say, shucking it. So I would shuck the grass.
So you do that with the rake, right?
With the rake. Okay. I'd be out there raking, and then my grandmother, she would be planting like bulbs they called them, for like canning plants and that kind of stuff. So I learned a lot, and I would just listen to them. They would talk, and I was just, wow, because I would love to listen to older people, because I figured they were I'm going where they already been, so I could learn something from. So, I think it's important to, listen to those who, have been there. And if you're going there, why not listen? I mean, you could tweak it a little bit, but you still got to go the same path. It's not going to be that different, So,
Well, your grandparents were wonderful people.
Yes, they were.
They were wonderful people.
Them, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so the Maroon Blend says, "Hi, KNC blessings. It's a pleasure to see you guys. Good to see you too." Descendants of Africa says, "So true, Terry." And King Joseph says, "At Kenny and Terry, I made a delicious turkey and collard greens stew."
There you go.
Ah, go
That
ahead.
sounds good.
Did you what do they do with the turkey now? Deep fry it.
Oh, deep fried?
Did you deep fry it? Oh
Yes.
wow, descendants from Africa.
Wow,
Thank you so much. We
Yes.
appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we
So-
talked about the traditional family, did we?
No, we just talked about, you were talking about the single family.
The single family mother,
Mhm. Yeah.
and then we talked about the blended family.
Yeah.
What about the traditional family?
Well, that's what I was thinking about when I was talking about my grandparents.
Traditional.
Long time ago. Not it seems like a long time ago, but when I was young, a lot of times, the father was there, the mother was there, and we had that family structure, and you would have the father teaching, the sons how to do the things that are necessary to be a man, and the mother teaching the women how to, do what's necessary to be a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then the father would, discipline. Oh boy, would he? And that structure, you still have a lot of that going on, in the South and the United States and in the North. But for the most part, I think it was a systematic effort to dismantle that traditional family,
Yeah.
especially in the melanated community,
Yeah.
because that was our strength,
Mm-hmm.
because we were united, we worked it, and I remember my grandfather having chickens in the front yard.
Yeah.
These little peepees running around. I was just talking to my mother about it. She said, "Yeah, Daddy had the chickens in the front yard. He would grow his own, vegetables and that type of stuff." But that was traditional, and you would learn from that. So,
Yeah.
and I think there's a lot of things that were put in play that caused the man to be irrelevant in the house, in our families.
Yeah.
And talking about the traditional.
The traditional family.
And it's really happening even at an accelerated pace today.
Yeah.
And trying to take away that manly manhood and the mother who's a nurturer,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that that's happening. And so that's why I think traditional families are being attacked. But there's still a lot of traditional families that are holding true and holding firm.
Yeah.
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 I think that when I was growing up, I come from a single family household, a large family household, and even though I came from a single family household, there was like a lot of fun, a lot of love.
Yeah.
But I always wondered, how it would be, if my father was in that house with us, like how my life would have been different if my father was present, and I don't know if it would have been different. I'm thinking it would have been different,
Right.
but, and I knew my father very well. My father was, very present in my life, but I just remember always going looking for my dad when I wanted money. Like if I wanted to go somewhere, if I wanted to, go to the mall or something, I would like call him and be like, can you give me some money? I want some money. And I remember my dad coming by and visiting us and giving everyone money, and staying for, as long as he did. Or if something went wrong with my mom's house, he would always come and put that tar on the roof if the roof was leaking, or he would come and fix the bathroom. So every time I smell that tar smell, it makes me think of my dad.
It triggers something.
Something in my mind. I'm like, oh my goodness, that tar smell makes me think of my dad. So anyway, I'm going to finish my story. Is that when I was like maybe a junior in high school, all these years, my dad was my cash cow, I guess you wouldn't call him. I loved him, don't get me wrong, but I always went for money.
You were young
and then when I was a junior and I went looking for my dad, and I found him. I always knew where he was at. And I said, Dad, I want to make a relationship with you. Like I want us to sit down And I want us to have that mother-daughter relationship. And I want, to share, you to share with me about your past. And I want to share with you about things that's going on in my life. And I don't want to come and ask you for money. The next time I see you, let's go out to dinner. And he was like, and he called me Woosta.
How old were you about this time?
I was probably like 17. 16 or 17. And he said, Woosta, I would love that. And he hugged me and I hugged him. And it was the most beautiful thing. And my dad died. I mean, he died, I think, like not long after that. And I never got a chance to build that one-on-one relationship. Right. And it was like, I waited so long.
But you had those.
But memories. I shared it.
Yeah, you had those. You have those memories up until that point, and you can reflect on those.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. That's how we actually keep someone alive in our memories.
Memories.
Yeah. So that's the only thing you have to leave is your legacy. And you just have to make sure that you're doing the righteous thing.
Hello, Candyman. Yes, Kenny, you're right. All Got Melody says art is a culture of oral tradition and the passing on of birth. Yes. We have to pass it on.
Yeah.
I think that's it. And Daria, easy. Hi. And Jet Union said, I grew up in Jamaica until I was 18 years old. I spent summers and Christmases with both my grandparents and great parents. I learned a lot from them. Now thinking about it, I miss those times. Yes, that's beautiful.
It's good to reflect, because you see yourself when you see them.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of them in you, and you can't get away from it. So it's a good thing, to reflect. But, even though we go back with the generations, and most Black Americans or melanated Americans are... The farthest we can go is almost like to slavery and tracing who we are.
I can't go back that far.
I mean, not you to the far as that you can go that until they had the census records and, that type of stuff that they usually counted people with. But it goes back even further than that, because I realized that since we came back to the continent, there's things that we lost.
I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. We lost some things, and the things that we lost, we're finding again. And that's through, as they brought our generational ancestors here on the ships, they kind of brainwashed them and wiped away their memory, if you would say, to the degree through the generations. So when we're back here on the continent, you start to identify those family values that you saw in our grandparents, great-grandparents that are here. And you can see how, they kind of wiped that away from the memory, even though they did it here with the colonization. But it was more intact here that I would be able to see. And, even with the foods, the blending of how the foods blend, you can see that. Even how, the family values are, more so when you meet another brother from the same part of the continent or sister from the continent, if you're from here.
Yeah.
But when you're not from here, we're like, how do you say, long lost children trying to find our way back home,
Yeah.
And I always put it like, is you just have to be able to be teachable to learn what they wiped away from our history.
Yeah.
So it really helps out when you can get back to the continent. Just come on back to visit if you want to visit, or if you do plan to move, then move. But I think it's good because you get a different understanding of who we are as a people.
Yeah.
When you transcend beyond 1619 and the Atlantic slave trade. And even the Arab slave trade, you want to go back past that one. But, and when I started searching it out, I found out a lot of things about who I am as a person, how, the kingship that we walked in, the systems that our ancestors had here already, the civilizations, like Mans Musa, one of the richest kings out there, and it's like wow, they really did a number on us. Yeah, they did a number on us when they started taking and wiping away our history.
Yeah.
Okay, where you at? Let's see what we got.
All story got melody. All Terry, thank you. Thank you all, got melody. I appreciate that. Greetings from Edwina Ware. Greetings from Bankhead Mall in Atlanta. You guys have grown so positively in this year. I check in at times just to see what you've improved. Love the chickens. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Big Z. Hey, KNT.
Hey.
Hi, Big Z. Are you still here? Remember Big Z came to land with Daniel?
I remember.
Phil says a prayer for us that that we would increase our Amira within these two servants, son and daughter. Let your sovereign presence and protection be upon them always in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen.
Yes.
Shalom. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, Cahelia Smith. How you doing? Wendell.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
It says right here, says, thanks, K&T, for all of your hard work with the channel. Your content is great.
Oh, hey. Thank you, Wendell.
Yes, thank you. Just try to keep it as real as possible and be ourselves, you know.
Big Z says, agreed. I've seen so many similarities and ancestral influences. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can learn from that. You can learn. And, I mean, you got to bring it back. It's like bringing it back to full circle. You know, it's like if I could, a story that I could think of is like if you had someone, I know that there was a story in the U.S. back where this child was abducted, right? And they were held captive, like in the basement, by this knucklehead that that held them for years. And they were very young when they took them. They just held captive them in the basement. And finally, the child grew up, got older and older, but the way of life that they were used to was being held captive in the basement, didn't know nobody, couldn't go outside, didn't relate to anything social, just was so, separated and pretty much forgot about, you know, who their mom was almost, and just had those memories, and then it would start to fade and fade. But when they got older, eventually there was some way that they were able to escape, you know, out of that bondage of where that person was holding them captive. So they escaped, and finally the authorities arrested the guy, put him in jail, and then they returned the child, the adult, back and tried to bring him back to their family. But you know, when they went back to their family, you could see that they were like, they didn't know anybody because they were been held captive in the basement or separated from everything they knew when they were younger, and it would take some time for them to re-assimilate themselves back to even their parents. And they knew they were their parents. They knew they were relatives, but they didn't know them. They just didn't know them. Even like, hey, I'm your brother. And, you know, I'm your sister, I'm your cousin. And you still don't know them until you get to know them. You know, that person got to know them, then they were apprehensive. They was like, you know, they were traumatized. So it took a long time for them to come, if they ever came back around. But I kind of see that like us coming back to the continent. You know, our ancestors were snatched, and they were pretty much taken to a place where the memory was erased, and over years it just started to change, and everything started changing. They were assimilated into I call alternative reality for our people. And that alternative reality became reality. And then, you know, finally you say, this isn't it. This isn't who we are. I'm not that person. You know, it's like the child held in the basement. Now you're coming alive, and you say, look, I got to get out of here. So that's the way I feel. We got out of there. And when we came back home, you know, it's like you'll see those who you say, it's like my brother, like my sister. And you don't really know, they don't know you. You understand? Because they don't know who you are, and you don't know who they are. So you have to take the time and be sensitive enough to want to be able to reassimilate and learn of that which was lost. But the reality is, that's the same people that you lost. And now you're back here, you got to learn. And it's not going to be easy because they did the same thing here with putting colonization in place to wipe them away from understanding what happened to us. But it's coming around. And that's the biggest fear that they have, that we unite. Because if we unite, I'm going to try to tell you, it's like, wow, can you imagine the United States of Africa? United States of Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's what I'm saying. So anyway.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Go ahead.
Where were we at? Big C. Okay, Strong Bass says, "What's up, my peoples? Blessings to you, peoples. Thank you." Wentworth Johnson says, "Hello from Minnesota." Camelia Smith says, "Terry, thank you for sharing your story with us." You're welcome. And Michael Cody says, "Please remember, diasporas belong the 6th region of Africa and teach the kids this history." Yes. You know, that's so funny, Michael, that you said that, because I was saying to Kenny that, you know, I hear all this talk about the 6th region, which is the diaspora, like, which is everyone that was dispersed to Jamaica, to Canada, to Brazil, to the Americas, to all the Caribbean islands, that we are a certain class of people. And we just talked about that, the sixth region. So when we come home, I was listening to someone that left Tanzania, and they were telling their story about how when they got to Tanzania, all they had to go through, and how they just felt mistreated, and how they were so anxious to get out of America to come to be amongst their people. And then they were like almost, you know, discriminated over there because they were not seen as the same. And I was just saying to Kenny, you know, it's a shame how we get this whole thing, and we have this whole glorified ideal of Africa, that when we come home, it's going to be this kumbaya moment. Like, you know, everyone's going to be so happy to see us. But the truth and the reality is that it's not a kumbaya moment, because just like we don't know them, they don't know us. And and the history has been severed. They don't want us to know our history. So I was saying to him, I think there should be a place that, since they know that we are the 6th region, they should bring us to a place in Africa, because there's so much land that the diaspora could come and just go to that one place and start over.
Or reassimilate
to learn, because it's a hard feeling to come someplace and feel like you're not received and loved. You know what I mean? But you don't want to be in America treated badly. You don't want to come to Africa to be treated badly. So where do you go? So they should give us our land. They should give I really believe that. They should give the 6th region a place where we all been through the same thing, you know, similar. We've all been discriminated against. We all were dispersed from the motherland, and let us come back and work it out.
And that's what generational.
That's a good thing that he mentioned, and I think that was good.
Yeah. And that's where you're going to have generational healing.
Yes.
You know, because there's been a lot of damage done.
A lot of damage.
You know, first of all, you're going to have to come to that understanding that there was a lot of damage done, and accept the fact that, okay, since the damage was done, how do we heal? How do we make it happen? How do we sit down and, you know, despite our differences, understand one another? And I think that's the biggest thing, is taking time to understand, because if you really love somebody, you're going to take time to understand them.
Well, I think that, you know, and that's fine and good, but I think it really starts with us telling our children, and us passing down our history to our children, and us telling the stories of how this happened and how that happened. And then if our children ever do get a chance to come over or go back somewhere, they have something good to stand on, because we passed down what we went through and our history to them, and it was documented. Right? Yeah, because if we miss all the history that's right there at home for us, and come over here trying to get history from Africa, there's like all this information that's missing. So I believe that if we started at home and begin to document at home, and begin to document what we know about our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our aunties, our uncles, on both sides, I think then we can begin something and take it further.
Right.
You know, I just believe that it's time for us to do better. It's time for us as a family to do better. You know, we have family members that maybe you have siblings that are not speaking or are angry at one another. So now the children do not get a chance to see their aunties or their uncles because of the sibling rivalry, and how foolish is that? Then they miss out on a whole family member because we don't know how to put our differences to the side to build strong families. Right?
Right. I agree.
And it starts right there, I believe. Anyway, Big C says, yes, sir. The happy companion. Hello.
Hey,
how
brother,
you doing?
how are you?
Descendants of Africa says, I try to encourage every melanated person I know to visit Mother Africa. My husband and I are planning another trip next year to Rwanda.
Wow. Okay.
I like that United States of Africa. Doesn't that sound good?
Sounds good.
Yes.
Can you
really
imagine having our own army?
Yes.
Own
For one,
Navy?
For one
Own Air
Africa.
Force?
Yeah.
If all the differences could be put aside and just unite under that one umbrella, that, like the continent.
This is boom.
Yeah, the continent. You know.
Yeah, instead of
And if you want to keep your countries, you can keep the countries and just turn them into a statehood, you know, and make it work, you know, and that way you make them governors over the state instead of presidents, you know, still keep that authority, and you can work it until you iron it out.
Yeah.
You know, and that way it's not, you know, so difficult, but we're going to have challenges once you do that, because, you know, family always has challenges. Everybody wants to be in charge.
Wentworth Johnson says, isn't it strange that the Africans on the continent were not taught about slavery?
That's
yes.
intentional.
And it's that is like mind-boggling, because when we talk about it, they're like, we never heard that story.
Yeah.
So yes, that is very, very strange.
It's intentional.
Bob Garvey says, my dad used to say that his grandfather always forbids to go to the beach or at the sea.
Wow.
Wow.
I can imagine why.
Yeah. They pass that information down for a reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Junior Williams says, hi from Denmark.
Okay.
Okay, go down.
Okay.
Oh, it's frozen.
Yeah, trying to stop moving.
Bob Garvey says, because it's where the two-God man came to steal us. In other words, they also had this trauma. Wow. So he told us to stay away from the waters because you might get snatched or stolen, because someone told him the story. Right. And he passed it on to you, and that's good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Wow. Imagine feeling like that. You can't go to the beach or go to the waters. Maybe the sixth, Wendell says, maybe the sixth region can stop African governments from giving up African airports to China due to predator bad loans. You know, yes. You know, maybe if we all can get on one accord and show them to stop giving up so much of this continent to others, that things could turn around. I don't even know if it's possible, honest to goodness, because when you start hearing all these things, it's like, wow, they're so deep in here. You know, I don't even know. But there's always hope, right? Michael Cody says she should have moved to Rwanda next door.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I must have missed something.
Yeah.
Maximilian said, I decided to stay in the States to continue to run my business because I decided to deal with the devil I know versus the one I don't. Hey, that's cool, because you know what? Everyone's not going to want to come back home, and sometimes it is good to deal with what you know instead of going someplace and starting all over to learn something new.
It's not everybody's journey.
It's not everybody's journey, so that's good. You know, and we commend you and we wish you the best.
And that's knowing your lane, you know, because I know my journey, you know, your journey, and I accept it, you know, and it's not everybody's journey, you know, and but when you know it, you walk in your journey, your peace, you know, and it's where your vein. Yeah. And you don't try to do what someone else is doing because it looks good or looks glamorous or it's something that just sounds good. You're doing what you know to do is for you. Yeah. And you do you, and we'll do us. Yeah. And that's what everybody should do, but we can still work together while we do it. Yeah. That's the whole thing.
Wentworth Johnson says, all of this was done for a reason, to keep us separate and to continue the abuse of the Africans all over.
That's
true. You know, Wentworth, wow.
We talked about
There's so much that was done, you know, so much.
It's it. You're right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Descendants from Africa, they're talking to Maximilian.
Okay.
Okay. Darlene says, hi, Terry and Kenny. Very good subject. So happy to be with you tonight. Hi, Darlene.
Hello.
I wonder if you're my Darlene from Canada. I'm so glad that you can make it if you are. Jacqueline Russ says, there are colonizers in Africa that convince Africans that we are bad people, not to mention the Western media. Really, this is the truth of the matter is that, oh, hi, Jackie. I just saw that smiley face, and that's Jackie that's here.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, yes, they taught them that we are bad and that we don't mean them any good, and they taught us over there when we were younger, this Africa's this and stay away, and Africa's that and Africa's bad, to play us against one another, and it's so far from the truth.
Well, that's why
it's not even true at all. So yes, you are exactly right. You know.
Yeah, and I would say that's why it's vitally important when you do come that you display. You don't display that what the media has depicted us as being. You know, it's you flip the script on them and show that all that they said is a lie. You know, and as we do what we do, you know, you can talk all day long, but talk is cheap. You know, it's a matter of doing it in love and working with your brothers here and your sisters here, trying to. You're not going to work with everybody. And I'm just going to tell you, it's not going to work with everybody because some people just don't want it. But you do with those you work with. Strengthen those who remain. That's what I say. So go ahead. Where we at?
I don't know.
It jumped up. That's okay. We're going to catch you. Jackie right here.
Rory Curtis says, how do you guys see the progress in the Gambia in terms of development and new business? I think it's growing. Wow. It is growing. It's like things are taking off. They're about to do a new highway.
It's like 3 lanes on each side all the way down.
There's so much new business. There's so much growth. And I'm telling you, we only been here a little over a year, like maybe 12 or 13 months, right?
Yeah.
So in 12 or 13 months, I tell you that already I have seen new businesses. The new roads are coming. Things are really different. Things are really, the one area that we walked in all the time is totally different. How when they push everything back, where the trucks used to be. So progress is happening. And it's sad to say I don't think it's happening amongst our people. There's more people from like different nations coming and buying up and creating businesses. But progress is happening, but I don't believe it's happening with...
It's happening, but it's just not happening fast enough with our people.
It's not with our people.
Yeah, because it's more of a capital, it's more of education, it's more of learning, a different way of life and understanding what's going, how everything is moving economically, how everything is moving for the future here. Because the whole continent, I just realized, I never knew it. They have like 9 super highways on the whole continent to connect the whole continent.
Wow. But yes, I agree that it's going forward. I do. Jacqueline Ross says, statehood sounds great. We must teach our own children. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Teach our own children, speak into our children's life, tell them who they are, who they can be, and what you see in them, and pull it out of them, right? So they can pass it on to their people. Yes. Satu Sinjang says, with ADU's FBA and the indigenous black movement in us, everyone there don't want anything to do with Africa.
I think it's an individual thing.
Yeah.
If that's what I'm understanding there. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I, as an African from Angola, recommend Antarctica for our people. There is plenty of land there. Antarctica. Really? But you could go to Antarctica by yourself. I do not like to be cold at all. That was good. Thank you, LS1138.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you very much.
Thank you for the well wishes too.
Yes.
Darlene said, yes, she is from... Darlene, I think it's the first time that I am recognizing the name, and I'm thinking that you could be possibly Darlene. Hi, sis.
Yeah.
Welcome to the live chat. I hope all is well.
Yes.
Plum Jade says the arrival talking about One Africa. So cool.
It starts with one.
Yeah, you've been talking about One Africa for so long.
I see it. I mean, that's a powerhouse, and they don't want that.
Yeah, they don't.
It doesn't matter what they want, because I know for sure one thing: the first will be last, and the last shall be first. And the trend has already begun.
Yeah. Just to speak to that, I hope that one day that it does come to pass. I really do, Kenny. I wish that for all of us, right?
Yeah.
Denise Spencer says, I was watching a video with African Repat, and she was talking about how her being attacked on the beach. Wow.
I don't
That's not good. That's not good. Big Z said, you can't change the fulfillment of prophecy. All of what's been done has been done for the return of the diasporans. Who else has Mendi, Fula, Bantu, etc. in the same skin? Right?
Absolutely.
That is good. That is so true. That is so true.
That's good. That's good, because that's where you got to have that understanding, though, to have that mind change. Yeah, wow. To learn of your history of those generations.
Mendi, Fula, and Bantu in the same skin. Yeah. We are some people, some powerful people. Yes, that is good. That is very, 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 very good.
It just gives me a good feeling thinking about that. Isn't that something?
Harmony Clark said, is there a feeling of elections in the air? Yes, there's a feeling. Well, we can't vote, but I'm telling you, just now tonight, coming home to get to our house, there was a whole intersection that people, cars, there was like so much noise going on. So different parties are out and they're in the streets and they're making their noise and they're making their campaigning. They're campaigning. Yes. And yes, so there is a feeling of election in the air. And I'm telling you, more than in the United States, I have never seen. How about that one time we were going somewhere and they were
all the children all the young people on the back of the van up top.
But not only that, how they were in the street dancing at the intersections and they were dancing at the intersection and they were yelling out. And I'm like, whoa, they are serious about their political campaign here. They're serious. And there's
that's all right.
It's in the air.
It's in the air.
It's in the air. Yeah. It is. G Global says, it's always been about the exploitation of the African resources, land and labor, always.
And that's what it's all about now, and they see that this is the fertile place. Yeah. This is the place. This is the next, it's the garden. It's like the Garden of Eden that they want to come back to. And how do you say, since all of the things that they have, all the resources that they have ruined, if you would say, now they're calling it something. I'm not even going to get into what they're calling it, but now they want to come back here because they know this is the fertile place. And now they're going to try. But to do that, it's almost like that movie Avatar. You have to get rid of the indigenous people in where Avatar was, because there was something that they wanted. It was called unobtainium. And unobtainium was in the very place that the people were, so they wanted to, but they had to get rid of the people in order to take what was in the land in the movie Avatar. Yeah. So it has a little similarity to it. They don't want the people here.
I hated that movie.
That's all right. But
the blue people were weird.
Not the blue people. I'm not talking about blue. It's the people. But they want the unobtainium that's in this earth.
What's in Africa.
That's the same
and they want
process.
The people gone.
And they always tell us what they want to do.
The indigenous people gone.
That's
and
what
they
I'm
want
saying.
To take over.
And if it has to be done by war or whatever, now they know they can't do this, so they have to send something else, and it's already here, and they're trying to. That campaign is underway now, coming out of South Africa.
Okay, so anyway, Bodhi Sawani said, "Let me demonstrate. I always see Benjamin and Njajata."
Who's that?
Benjamin and who is Njajata? Henrietta. She said Njajata on the videos. Jealous now. I don't see Grip for a while now. We want to see Grip. We want to see Grip. We want to see Grip. Lovely greetings from Germany. Oh, that is super. She just changed Henrietta's name. But let me tell you, I was just telling Kenny how we got to stop it, because it's like Grip doesn't exist anymore.
No, not for me.
No. I'm saying in our videos, it's like Grip doesn't exist anymore.
That's my buddy.
Grip exists. He's in our life every single day. He's at home with us, and sorry, we are going to get him. We are. Everyone that's in here, if you can hit the like button,
yes,
and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe and share.
Yes.
Okay. What Denise Spencer says, what do you guys think about the Taft development area? Are the prices economical? I really don't know the prices, but I think the development's going to be awesome based on what I saw of the pictures and everything. It looks like it's going to be good. I don't know the prices.
I haven't gotten into the...
But I think they do have a website. If you want to go look at that, I think it's going to be a nice Taft city because they're going to have like a school, like
it's a game changer for sure.
It's a game changer. They're going to have like a mall, grocery stores, university. It's going to be really, really awesome. Big Z says 3 to 5 years plan for the land. I purchased Plaza Store with apartments on top. Oh wow,
okay,
that's good.
Let's dream big. There
Purchase
you go.
Plaza. Okay, that's nice.
They say shoot for the moon.
That's nice.
If you miss, you'll be amongst the stars. Go ahead.
Hey, Greg.
There you go.
How are you? Khalil Smith says, Big Z, that's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Wendell says, only the conscious melanated folks will repatriate. However, we must keep the door open for family and friends as they decide to return to Mother Africa.
I agree.
And I do believe that there's a select few that will come first. And once they see that it's doable, it's possible, and like you said, keep the door open, others will come. Yes. I do believe that because it's a scary thing. Like it's scary, right?
It's not for the faint of heart. It's not to. It takes courage though, and it takes faith, and it takes determination. And we are made up with all of those naturally. Because we have to overcome every obstacle there. When I was growing up, I had so many obstacles. In the mind and the physical. The store, somebody follow me around. Yeah. Driving down the street, someone go whoop whoop, pull over, let me see your license. All of that. But we always overcame.
It's horrible.
That's why I said it's doable, because the mind has to be in a place where I can do this. And then when you see someone else do it, you have evidence that it can be done.
It's possible.
And then your faith level rises. You have evidence because you see someone else doing it. And it's not like they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. It's just that they are determined to do it.
Well, I hope that that as they see others that can do it, that they are also seeing the struggle in it, because
that's true.
It's not an easy thing, and it's not easy, but it's doable.
Yes, it is.
And I'm telling you, from all the things that we suffered back in America, the things that we're suffering here, there's no comparison. No comparison. No, even though we have our struggles here, our struggles back there prepared us for this. We are prepared for this.
And I wake up every day with excitement to go do what I'm about to do.
And I wake up every morning with peace and thankfulness and gratitude that I was able to come full circle. And whether or not it was me that was taken, I know that somewhere in my bloodline, I completed that circle, taken by force, but came back voluntarily. And I am home. And the circle in my generation for my seed has been completed because I made it back home.
That's right.
And yes. Maximilian says, you guys are genuine people. We need more people like you all there, because you all represent African Americans well, because most African Americans are just like you all and not hustlers and not scammers.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's what the TV
they have African Americans portrayed all wrong, and everybody's different, everything's an individual thing. So we have to be careful when we pass judgment on people just because of the place they come from, because everyone's story is totally different. And do we have terrible African Americans? Yeah. Do we have terrible Africans? Yeah. Do we have terrible Jamaicans? Yeah. Do we, there's terrible in every race.
Well, I don't know about terrible.
Not terrible, but you know what I mean.
That's not a rough word.
Not terrible, but you know what I'm saying.
I know they've made bad decisions. And they take advantage of other people based upon whatever their decisions.
But for the most, but you can't just say, African Americans are scammers and.
Well, that came from the TV.
Yeah.
the vision that they've been telling. They've been telling the vision. And it's been a vision that they want others to see of us, which is a negativity. And, all like the 70s, they had all the pimps, the hustlers, all the roles. So that goes
someone's asking, how are you concerned about China movements in Africa? Just asking.
Well,
I think
it's a matter of unifying the people in the mind to achieve what we need to achieve together here, because they're doing what they do, and the whole thing is we got to do it better, we got to do it stronger, and we got to do it more united. And then once we keep our money,
I hate what China's doing here.
I do too, but that's why I say there's a way to get around it.
But I think.
But they spend their money in their places.
Yeah, but that's true.
And if we
come
spend
over
our
here
money in our places,
and they make Chinese grocery stores and they make Chinese things. But my whole thing is this: I don't even know how China was allowed to come over here and do this, because when was it? When we were coming over here? No, remember? Greed. Because they're paying somebody off.
Yeah.
Remember just a year ago where the Chinese people were kicking blacks out of China?
Yeah.
And they couldn't come to the hospital and have their babies.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't rent their apartments.
Mm-hmm.
They showed videos when Africans in China were sleeping on the streets of China.
Those Nigerians,
So how dare you allow them to come over here and even do any kind of business?
Yeah.
I mean, I would be, if I was president, get out of here.
But see, that's where we
I would be like,
even
get
back
out of
home,
here.
we have that with lack of understanding that even where like they call it the hood, you could have a Chinese store move in there, or a restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll figure out how to make chicken wings. They'll figure out how to cook collard greens. They'll figure out how to, make those French fries,
Mm-hmm.
and everything that we like. They would cook it and then sell it. Oh, you like me? There you go. You go in there, you buy it, and then
take their money,
and they go to their store.
No, to their life out in the suburbs.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In the stores they'll go to a Chinese store, and spend it there.
Yeah.
And we go to their stores and spend it in theirs, but they would circulate their money among themselves.
But how stupid are we? Because we won't go cook our own chicken wings and our own food.
But I'm just trying to make the point of that we circulated our money amongst ourselves.
We're going to buy other chicken wings.
They're buying theirs. Let's buy ours.
So when you go to, especially in Philadelphia, are you kidding me? If you go to a Chinese store, that line's out the door because they made that chicken wings good. I used to be in that line too, but I'm telling you, one day I woke up and I said, that's it. I am not giving them no more of my money. Every time I was seeing them leaving them stores, they're pulling out in Beamers and all these fancy cars, and I'm like, what? That's my money that I'm going and giving it to them. So it's up to us to start cooking for ourselves, wear our hair, do our own nails. Like for us to open up our own nail stores and us start doing our own nails to each other, like sisters, helping sisters. Come on, girl, I'll do your pedicure. We might mess it up, but let's get that thing perfected. Yeah. And let's keep it within ourselves, right?
There you go.
But we go in there and they got the little Buddha, Hindu doll or whatever. No. Anyway.
That's a different story.
It's a different story.
Yeah. So, it's the matter of, just doing it. If you got to, I know, somebody told me the story. They said that they would pick up a guy, Chinese guy, all the way across town. Right? Mm-hmm. And they would pick him up and he would go past 100 stores to go back to that Chinese store just to spend his money.
Wow. See, that's what you have to do.
And that's what, we'll go past nothing and go to the first Chinese place and spend our money instead of traveling down the next 2 blocks down and say, oh, I'm going to support them. Well, I can't find what I'm looking for. Well, if you start supporting them, they'll be able to bring in the product.
That's true. Look what Bob Garvey said. He said, now the president of Uganda is afraid to lose the Entebbe airport because they got a bad deal from China. So this is what I'm saying. They take out these loans. Yeah. And then when it comes time to pay these loans back and to pay you to meet the interest, then all of a sudden it's like, what do you do? And then now another piece of Africa is gone because they take this money. Then how are you going to pay this money back? Yeah. Like, stop it. Yeah. No more loans. Let's do our own loan. Let's loan from each other. let's do business within Africa.
We just really went off topic.
And we really went off topic, yes. But let's just Africa do business with Africa. Let's keep it all here and get rid of the other people. Let's
I'm gonna tell you, it's so much knowledge back in Egypt, if you would say, that if we first, as a family back there, would come together in terms of, I don't want to be the head, I don't want to be the best, I don't want to be seen of, I just want to see the advancement of something. And you find someone responsible, that's the biggest problem, that won't try to get all of the money and keep it for themselves so that they can have the best house, the best car, and realize that it can funnel through them so that the prosperity comes to the people in the stores, and then you build that economy up. But that's the hardest thing, trustworthiness. Because you give somebody money, they want to go spend it all.
But I think that's where it starts, like where we started from the beginning, about sharing our history,
values,
about telling our children what we had to go through and imparting the history into our kids, and they pass it on and tell them, don't go to the Chinese store. I'll make your fried chicken wings. Let's make our own chicken wings. Let's make our own fried rice. Let's look up the recipe and let's start selling our own stuff. So we pass it down in the family, and then the next generation, and keep passing down. By the time we all get over here to the motherland, we're coming strong. We're coming united already because it started at home.
There you go.
So we can't, be all divided at home and then come over here and think we're going to be united, because it's not going to happen.
And that's it. That's a good point.
It's not going to happen. You have to start somewhere, and everything starts at home.
We were talking about that too, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be the same person you were
over there
when you come here.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to come here and then all of a sudden you're, oh, yes, we're just one happy family. I love that person. I love this person. No, if you got a bunch of junk in you when you over there, you're going to bring that junk here. And if you're not willing to get rid of that junk when you get here, sort of for the betterment of the people and yourself, then it's going to be a mess.
Yes.
So that's why it begins at home. Judgment begins in the house first. And when you understand there's things that you have to get rid of, you're going to have to accept the fact that I'm going to get rid of them and I'm going to go forward so that we all can be right.
Yeah. So I believe that it starts with family. I believe that it starts with self-love. I believe that it starts with intentionally doing everything that we're doing on purpose, intentionally sitting down with our children. And if you don't have any children, you go get your nieces and nephews, and you go and you grab them babies, and you tell them that how special they are, how you love their kinky coils, how you love their big nose and their big lips, and how you love their big hips and all that stuff, and show them that they are unique and they are beautiful just as they are, and really, really, really get that inside of them. And then as they get older, share the story, share everything. So it can just be perpetuated, and we can continue this thing, because nobody ever told me they loved my hair when I was younger.
No.
I couldn't wait to get a perm.
Yeah.
Nobody said to me,
so you can look like them.
Yeah. So I'm saying that it starts at home. We have to start with what's right in front of us.
Yes.
And get that thing right. Yeah. And then once we get that thing right, it goes into the community.
Right.
But it has to start in the family first.
And that's the whole thing. And I just live by something. It's not what comes to me that really makes the difference for me, but it's what comes from me that makes the difference. Because there's going to be a lot of things coming to me, but I'm going to have to deal with them head on and overcome them. So, and then what comes from me at the time that these things come to me is what's in me, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to have in me the right stuff to overcome whatever comes at me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I am. And everybody's different, but I refuse to be intimidated, because I don't let anybody intimidate me without my permission. And I don't get anyone permission. So we come back to understanding that, we need to learn who we are as a people, learn who we are from our generations that have gone before us. And they were strong. And
find out what they do, and find out what they did well.
Yeah.
Or you do well, and do your thing.
Yeah.
If you can sew, start making stuff and selling it. And start create that thing. That, start small, and then it just grows and it grows. And we have to just really look within, and we have to start doing our own thing and stop looking to other people for the answers when the answers are already within us.
That's it.
We have everything we need. We have everything we need within us. That's how I feel.
That's how I feel too. And I think you just keep going.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you get in your hand is what you use. You know, you make it work the best you can. But you don't take and hang your hat where you can't reach it. You know, if you have that in our generational, I would say our grandfathers, great grandfathers, they learned that whatever they had in their hand, they made it work. They learned how to make it work, you know, and that's where we're made up. We're made up like that.
Yeah.
It's just that that's who
we're
we
resilient
are.
people. We
He
are so
made us in his
resilient.
image, and
Yes.
that's who we are. You know, so there's nothing that we can't do. It's just that all you need to do. That's why they try to prevent you from reading, or the slaves from reading, because they knew if they read it, they'd be able to overcome everything, you know. But we got it now.
Look at descendants of Africans
What's
said.
that?
She said, "I had the creamy crack too."
What's that?
The relaxer.
Oh,
The creamy crack. Like, you know, you just
Oh,
want your
that's
hair to be different until
that's
you
a soul
until you
glow.
realize that your hair is beautiful the way it grows right out of your scalp. You know. So I thank you guys, everyone that joined us on the chat. I just really wanted to share about family. You know, that is but
You know, I'll say, right there. This one. Read that one right there. Who is that? It says, "Water's my love." It says, "I bless you with being everything that God has designed you to be, because as you experience the joy of fulfilling your purpose, you will benefit others with benefit.
Others will benefit.
With benefit.
Others will benefit.
And the world will be blessed." You know, that's true, because that's what
you.
Nathan said. I mean, you know, he said to me that when he was young, and he said that I would always encourage him and share with him about certain things, you know, and he would say, you know, and it really touched my heart, because I never knew what seeds I would drop in, you know, to share with him. And, you know, and now he's moving. He took those seeds of knowledge and started to put them in the ground, and now they've grown up, and now he's moving in what he wanted to move in, because, you know, someone had, actually, he said, I took the time to share with him, you know, as a young man, the things that he needed to hear, and now he took them and ran with them. So you never know who you're going to be able to help benefit.
You never know.
That's true.
You really, really never know.
Yeah.
I just want to say, if you didn't hit the like button coming in, can you hit the like button going out?
Yep.
If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. We appreciate all of you guys.
Whoa, it's 11:15.
Yes, I know. We appreciate all you guys. I'm just going to share this with you. You know, and value your family.
Yeah.
And speak into their lives, and share your history. Take pictures of your grandparents. Take pictures and share your generations, and show them and tell them who they are, and speak into their lives, and call out what you see. Just call it out. Like, it's important. So here's my little quote that I want to leave with you guys. It says, family. Family isn't defined only by last names or by blood. It's defined by commitment and by love. It means showing up when they need it most. It means having each other's backs. It means choosing to love each other even on those days when you struggle to like each other. It means never giving up on each other. Family, we can do better. I love y'all. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next week or in our next video.
Yeah.
You want to say something, baby?
Oh, no, I'm good. I said a lot. I'm done.
Okay.
You know, I could say more, but I think we've said what we needed to say for now, till next Monday. All right, guys.
Okay, have a good night.